Hello everyone, it is I, the Great Papyrus, and today I'm going to be reviewing a project made by my good friend Adrian, called What If Mortal Kombat was in the MCU. And I'm going to do all of Phase 1 because that's what's happening right now, so Phase 1 is roughly the same except they added a Mortal Kombat movie at the end. Alright, so I'm just going to review every change plus the movie, and I'm going to tell you how I think about it. Now let's start with Iron Man, because, well, that was the first MCU movie ever and all that stuff. So, there were only 4 changes in the movie. Johnny Cage will appear in a movie in a photo with Tony Stark. That honestly fits for Johnny Cage's character, and I like it. Jarvis mentioned the Special Forces during that time when Tony is making the Mark II armor. Honestly, that's one of my favorite scenes. I mean, from Iron Man, because I just love how the Mark II armor looks. Anyway, I would have liked it if you said exactly how the mention really goes, but that's still good. So anyway, Obadiah Stane will mention the Black Dragon as one of his spires. That makes kind of sense, yeah. And here's a big one. Hao Yinsen mentions that his nephew is a Shaolin monk named, drumroll please, Liu Kang. Now that's a cool, plot twist there. It's not really a plot twist, but still. Anyway, next up we have the Incredible Hulk with 5 changes. Instead of going to Portugal, Bruce Banner goes to China instead to seek a Shaolin master named Bo Rai Chao to help him control his anger. He's one of my favorite characters, Bo Rai Chao. He's like, his fatality, he's like farting and stuff, and it's just hilarious. But in all retrospect, this is also cool. Reptile makes an appearance. He's in the trees when Hulk threw the boulder. That's a cool cameo. When Bruce is on the run in China, he bumps into a man with a gardening hat. The man tells him, "May the Elder Gods be with you," confirming that this man is Raiden. There's more Special Forces mentions, including the names Major Briggs and Lieutenant Blade, which is Jackson. Sonya, if you guys don't know. Johnny Cage makes another appearance in the newspaper in Samuel Stern's lab. Alright. Now for Iron Man 2. This one only has minor changes, only 4. Justin Hammer mentions a group wanting Stark Tech, calling them by Lin Kuei, thus setting up Sub-Zero and his clan in the future Cyrex and Sector. Kano makes his first appearance as a buyer of Justin Hammer's technology. Interesting. Phil Coulson mentioned that there was originally going to be a member for the Avengers Initiative, a Special Forces holder. This is referring to Sonya Blade. Whiplash tells a story of a man who offered him recognition. He is referring to Shang Tsung. Alright. And now, next up, we have Thor. Now, I hate to hammer a point home, but this is cool so far. Anyway, there are 4 changes. Odin mentions an emperor, Shao Kahn, when talking to Thor about his arrogance. In the Asgardian Vault, there is a giant egg. This is the dragon egg that would bring Onaga back. Odin does mention Outworld as its own planet in the universe. I'm gonna have to stop you right there. I don't think Outworld is just one planet. I'm pretty sure it's like another dimension or something, but I could be wrong. Unless this is just like one of those changes to fit in the MCU. Which, yeah. Heimdall tells Thor that he is not the only Thunder God, referring to Raiden. That's a cool reference. Next up we have Captain America. I don't know. Captain America takes place back in the 40s, doesn't it? Well, it's still going to be interesting anyway. Anyway, there are minor changes in the movies. Shang Tsung makes his first appearance in a tuxedo, asking Steve if he can do him a favor. Steve says that he can do what he can. Red Skull does mention that he once worshipped the devil, referring to Shinnok. While Steve is looking for a brand new shield, he sees some vibranium weapons. Those soon gonna be Cabal's blades. Interesting. And during the end of the movie, Cap does say he had a date, but he didn't mention the favor. What does that one have to do with Mortal Kombat? Unless it's just another change. Next up, the Avengers. Now, it only has 4 changes. When Loki is talking to the other, Shao Kahn's shadow can be seen, indicating that Shao Kahn is working for Thanos. Black Widow tells a story about an old man wanted to invite her to a tournament, referring to Shang Tsung. When Loki tells Thor about how many worlds he has seen, he mentions a Goliath that fought many mortals with 4 hands, referring to Goro. And there's another Black Dragon reference. Alright. Now for the actual movie itself, Mortal Kombat. Anyway, the movie starts with Raiden talking with a god named Fusion about the upcoming tournament. Fusion tells Raiden that they must be ready because they don't have much time. Raiden assures Raiden that he has a plan. Is that a typo or something? Yes, Raiden assures Raiden. Raiden's one person. What? It cuts back, and then the Marvel Studios logo intro starts. Alright. Sorry, that can never get out of my head. The first scene shows Liu Kang and Kung Lao training at the Wu Shi Academy. The reason for the training was to give an example to a young Shaolin monk named Kai from Mortal Kombat 4. The elder monk asks if Liu Kang and Kung Lao if they have a moment. Liu Kang and Kung Lao accept. The elder monk tells them about the upcoming tournament and that they need to go. Kung Lao asks why this is so important, because being a sarcastic idiot he is. Then Raiden comes telling them that it is for the fate of Earthrealm. Now, so far it seems like a fair adaptation of the game. Liu Kang accepts Raiden's invitation. Kung Lao asks if this benefits him in it anyway. Raiden tells him that the killer of his ancestor will be there. Then Kung Lao accepts. The second scene shows Jax and Sonya Blade at the Triskelion talking to Nick Fury. Fury tells them where Kano was last seen. So Jax and Sonya go to Kano's location. The third scene shows Johnny Cage leaving a movie set. Then he bumps into Shang Tsung wearing a tuxedo. Shang Tsung tells Johnny about the tournament. Johnny accepts. I expected Johnny to like not take it lightly and then eventually join, because that's like more accurate to his character. But that was fine too. The next scene takes place in Hong Kong, where Liu Kang, Kung Lao, Jax, Sonya, and Johnny Cage are on a boat. There, the combatants of Earthrealm meet Shang Tsung, the Emperor's best sorcerer. Shang Tsung introduces the combatants to Scorpion, Katana, Sub-Zero, and Reptile. Kano introduces himself as well, a day fighter. The fighters arrive on Shang Tsung's island. Shang Tsung tells the fighters it has begun. The tournament begins. The first fight is between Johnny Cage and Reptile. Oh, so like in Mortal Kombat 9. I know it's just called Mortal Kombat, but technically it's from Mortal Kombat 9. Alright, fine, I'll call it Mortal Kombat 2011 if any of you are going to get mad at me. They fight at the bottom of a pit. A reference to Reptile's secret fight in the original game. Reptile was given the advantage for a little bit, but Johnny decides to play dirty and nut punches Reptile and then uppercuts him. That's something I would do in the game. I like playing as Johnny Cage because of the nut punch. That's really it. Johnny Cage wins the fight, but Reptile leaves the area. The second fight is between Liu Kang and Katana. The fight is really epic, and it ends with Liu Kang winning. Katana is ashamed and says that she failed her father. Liu Kang tells her that never happened, and she failed nobody, giving her a second chance. Honestly, the romance between Liu Kang and Katana is always a thing I liked in the Mortal Kombat series, ever since the movie confirmed it. Even though it's not canon, it's still the original movie of 1990. Alright, fine, I'll get back to the story. The third fight is between Kung Lao, which is very short, and it's with Kung Lao being an idiot once more and decides to strike Sub-Zero, but Sub-Zero accidentally kicks him in the gut and throws him. The fourth fight is between Jax and Kano. This fight is also short, ending with Kano calling in some Black Dragon and ganging up on Jax, knocking him out. The fifth fight is between Scorpion and Sub-Zero, which is an emotional fight. The fight ends with Scorpion burning Sub-Zero off screen. Aha! A fatality! I was waiting for a fatality. The sixth fight is between Johnny and Sonya versus Kano. The fight ends with Sonya shoving Kano off a ledge and Kano falls. I'm not saying he's dead. Well, he's not saying. Whatever. The 7th fight is between Liu Kang and Goro. This fight is a long fight. The fight ends with Liu Kang and... I got thrown off track. The fight ends with Liu Kang defeating Goro. Shang Tsung says that if others had accepted his invitation to previous tournaments would have gave Outworld for a challenge, referring to Black Widow and Cap's invite. The final battle is between Liu Kang and Shang Tsung, which is a very intense fight. The fight ends with Liu Kang defeating Shang Tsung and becoming the Mortal Kombat champion, like in the game, the original one at least. The movie ends with Raiden and Fusion congratulating the combatants of Earthrealm, but Raiden tells them that this might not be the last time they see Shang Tsung and the Outworld fighters. The mid-credit scene starts with Shang Tsung begging his Emperor to give him a second chance, proposing another tournament. The Emperor reveals his face as Shao Kahn and says, "Go on, sorcerer." Then the screen cuts to black. The post-credit scene starts at a Lin Kuei temple, where the clan does a traditional funeral for Bai Han, or Sub-Zero. After the funeral ends, his brother, Kuei Lang, how do you say that? I don't know. Tells it, second Sub-Zero tells his friend, who goes by Smoke, that he will avenge his brother. The screen cuts to black, and he says that I hope this was good. It was. The Infinity Stones are still the focus of the first 3 phases. The only stones we know are so far is Mind Stone and Loki's Scepter, and the Space Stone and Tesseract. Alright, so this may be a little off topic, but what exactly does the Space Stone do? I never knew that. Anyway, now a full review of this. I like how the previous movies had only like minor changes to them, because that's kind of how the MCU was like before. You know, like, yeah, sure, Black Widow appeared in Iron Man 2, but like but if you watched just one of them, then you wouldn't have known it was a big part of a bigger universe until Iron Man 3 or the Avengers or Age of Ultron or Infinity War or etc. more etc. I like how this is kind of like that with Mortal Kombat. I mean, yeah, sure, they mentioned a few things, but like that's really it. I have to give this an 8 out of 10. Why an 8 out of 10 and not 9 or 10? Well, here's the thing. Some of the parts, well, it's mostly just it could have had a tiny bit more Mortal Kombat, if I'm being honest, in the other movies. And I would have loved to see an on-screen fatality. That would have been awesome and accurate to the game. But besides that, it was good. 8 out of 10. I'm hoping that Phase 2 is just as good. Goodbye. Man, this is like the longest video I've made in a long time. Making it to 13 minutes.